Yeah, it's perfect. Here you go. The presentation will go in the back for you. ये सब हो गया. Ali? अच्छा तो
लेकिन आपने बताना है, वो कह रहे हैं कि
हाँ नहीं मुझे पता है. आप अभी एक पहले लगाएंगे, ठीक है? हाँ मैं बता दूँगी आपको, ठीक है? मैडम की प्रेजेंटेशन भी है इस पर. दैट्स व्हाई आई वाज थिंकिंग. या नहीं आप अभी खोलें. ये वाला नहीं आप ना अभी मैं जब बोलूँगी तब ठीक है. Good evening. Great. Good evening, everybody, and it's quite an honor for me today to be here. My name is Madiha Latif, and I'm the country director for Pathfinder International Pakistan. And we've been a partner with Takeda Pharmaceuticals industry. They've been supporting a lot of the climate and health adaptation work in Pakistan and in Bangladesh, particularly looking at how can we center women leadership when we talk about adaptation, when we talk about health services, and also about the nexus of climate and health and how it manifests. In 2022, we all know that Pakistan was faced with one of the worst floods that we had seen in a while. And one of the key things that came out from those floods was that 650,000 women were left without health services, who were pregnant and who needed immediate care. This needs to be formulated with data, this needs to be backed by community engagement, health service delivery, but most importantly, it needs to be a multi-sectoral integrated effort that takes on both the climate as well as the gender departments that form part of our policies and our structures. So it's with great honor that we partnered with the Ministry of Climate Change when we hosted the APFFT regional conference in August, where we were able to convene regionally some of the leading climate and gender experts to discuss gender empowerment for a green economy. This led to Pakistan endorsing and leading what we know to come together as a region to forward climate adaptation, to forward gender economy, and with that, the brainchild of Ms. Madam Ramina, the Gender and Climate Equity Seal. Pathfinder is very proud to support the initiatives of the Ministry of Climate Change and commit to continuing this partnership as and when required. But I will not take up too much time. I will ask my colleague over here to play a short video to put forward why private sector and gender equity is the key need for climate change. This is our partner from Egypt, because our learnings for this Gender and Climate Equity Seal were informed by the incredible programming in our Egyptian office led by Ms. Rania, who will be moderating this panel. So may I just draw your attention for a minute to this video. Thank you.
He's also feeling little cold.
Yeah, it seems so.
Please don't mind, guys. It's in the freezing process.
Is there a technical issue? Okay. Acha, forget it. Let's play Madam's. Okay. Clearly tech issues, which we cannot avoid in this real day and age in digital tech time. So while my colleague here tries to work through the video, Madam, may I invite you to begin discussing the Gender and Climate Equity Seal.
Thank you.
Madam की presentation लगाओ.
I hope I'm audible to everybody. Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Very good evening. I know it's a little freezing and little windy, but I think it's okay. Sometimes let's enjoy the breeze. I really want to welcome all the distinguished guests who are here, who are sitting and having their interest in the Gender Equity Seal program. As already Madiha has briefly told that when it started, when we have planned this, because this is one of the things, this is my third term in the parliament, and I've been working on the SDGs, on the climate action, on the things, and one thing which I always believe, usually women parliamentarians or other people, they said that, Rumina, you need to talk about women rights and all. And I always said, why I should talk about women rights? Woman is always right. Isn't it? The woman is always right. Number one. And number two is that I believe that, where there's a will, there is a way. And see, the will is also with W and the woman is also with W. And this is something, so many W's, right? So, but anyways, that was on the lighter note, because I know everyone since morning is a bit tired. But it is something very important that we need to talk about the gender. We need to talk about the rights of the gender, how we can bring everyone into the mainstream. Everyone is important. Everyone is very much relevant to when it comes to climate change, when it comes to SDGs as well. So the vision of the MOCC, that God has been kind that I got this opportunity to work on that, and I'm really thankful to Pathfinders as well, that along with the AFPPD, Asian Forum for Population Development, and MOCC, and Sustainability First, SDPI, Pathfinder, they all play a very pivotal role, that we have gathered the parliamentarians from the region, and in that we have discussed about the gender. We discussed about the equality, we discussed about the green economy, and that how the gender can bring more empower. Not only that, we talk about the adolescent as well, we talk about the children as well, we talk about the health as well, which is very much important, that how we can focus on that. I will not take much more time, because I would love to I would love that all the technical experts who are sitting over, you people will listen to more over that. But I think it's moreover important that when we talk about the gender equity, it's about the resilience. It's about the power which we can do the wonders, and that can be done like today. In the most important thing, all the panelists are women. You see, that's how we bring the change, right? So another thing is that they're from the different part of the world. We all are together because the issues are same, challenges are same, problems are same, but the solutions are also very much same. Because everyone, the human, it's not that someone in the Africa region is having a different, they're alien, and someone from the Asia region is alien. Somehow we are all the same. We have the same body, we have the same eyes, brain, eyes, nose, everything. So what is the difference? And when we talk about the climate, it's moreover important to let's sit together to come up with the common solutions, talk about the regional solutions, to talk about, because I'm sorry, until and unless we are not going to sit as a region, it's now or it's never. I always say that. We cannot mix apples with oranges. No one is from the developed countries going to come and talk about us. Until and unless we don't going to talk about ourselves, we are not going to get serious. And that how we can serious? We all know that gender is the very important component. It is need indeed. So and then of course there are diverse perspectives as well, and I always believe to agree to disagree and disagree to agree. But until and unless we are not going to sit together, we are not going to do the dialogues and to come up with, it's always everyone is focusing from the developed countries. They raise the things that do more on the mitigation side, but we all know that people, the countries like the vulnerable countries, our challenges, like we have to survive on the adaptation side. We have no choices. We are having economic challenges as well, but in that I believe woman is something who can bring, because the woman is also the main one who suffered. Other than that, we do talk about health, we do talk about losses and damages, but excuse me, when you talk about the economical losses and damages, what about the mental loss and damages, mental traumas which the families go through, the women and the children go through? Because we all know, it's not that I don't want to be biased about the men and women. For me, we all are equal, we all are same. You know, sometimes men maybe won't share, women sometimes won't share, but we all know that here we are standing I'm standing, must having some sort of a story or a pain I'm going through. I'm so sure everyone who is sitting over here, they must have their own pains or issues, you know, but we are, when it comes to come in front somewhere and discuss, okay, we are very much smiling. Hello, hi, how do you do? Oh, I'm fine, I'm like this. We all are going through some of our own agonies. And just think about that somebody who is having a home at night and at no time, they don't know. Suddenly the flood come and they have lost everything. Mothers give the birth to the children while the floods. So that mental trauma, just imagine for a minute that something which is very dear to you just been gone. You feel the pain. But think about those who have lost each and everything. I don't want to talk in that technical side. I'm sure my friends and colleagues, they're going to talk about it. But we need to sensitize. We all are sensitized. We all are humans. We know the human rights, but now I believe with this program, along with the support and the help of every one of you who are here, I'm looking forward for more and manier that we need to collaborate. Why? Because this is not my issue. It's not your issue. It's an issue of us. Climate change and human rights. Climate change and health. Climate change and climate justice, moreover, important. The economy, the woman, you know, when, as I was talking earlier, that when the flood came, you know, no matter in any country, when some disaster came, and I don't call it a natural disaster anymore. They are not a natural disaster. They are very much man-made disasters of the developed countries. Right? So it is very much important to think about it that the night maybe as being a mother, no matter a woman, you're a mother, you're a sister, you're a friend, you're a wife, a friend or whatever. Same goes, no matter you're a husband, you're a father, you're a brother, you're a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or whatever. You know, something happened, what we do? Very next moment we think that, oh God, how we have to survive, how I have to look after my loved ones. And same goes with a mother, with a woman, she think about it that, okay, something happened, what I do? I have seen with my own eyes the woman from Pakistan in the floods, and I'm so sure in other countries as well. But my rural woman, she's the most strongest woman. She is the champion. Rumina is not the champion, she is the champion. Because very next day, with all the pain, no matter what they have lost, but very next day, they gathered their energy, they made from the mud, they made the stove to cook the food for their children. And this is called mother. She forget everything. She's hungry, doesn't matter. She gave her food to her child. She's hungry, but she gave the food to her husband. Because love is that, and love is share and care. I just don't want to get more emotional, because I believe the woman is more strong. Guys, but it is the way it is, and same goes with the fathers, with the man as well. He wants the best for his wife, he wants the best for his girlfriend, for her loved one, for her daughter, for everyone. So you know, what's the difference? There is nothing we can do differentiate. But you know, this is something I believe that together, please, let's get together on this. Let's be together. Let's come up with the solutions. Let's talk about the things. We can bring the change. And that can only be done if we can come up. This Gender Equity SEAL program is something, it's not a project or a program. Maybe for someone, it's a project or program. For me, it's lifeline for others. I want it to be a lifeline for others to empower the gender, that no matter you're a mother, you're a father, you're a she-male or a he-male, you're transgender, you're minority, whoever you are, just be strong. We all are for each other, and we're really looking forward to bring everyone on one page, to bring them on one page, and to give this empowerment to a transgender as well, that I respect you, I love you, because you are a human. Because God loves you, how can we disrespect you? And we should not. How we can strengthen, how we can bring a great impact on economy. You know, that is something which is, oh my God, I made emotional. I'm so sorry. Come on, darling, don't do this. We are not weak. See, I don't want to spoil the makeup. Okay, please relax. and thank you so very much. This is this is something we need to think about it, please. And same goes, I would really like to share with you that we are talking about the social cohesions more. It's not only the gender equity is gender equity for a woman. No, it's for everyone. I'm not talking about interfaith harmony thing. No, it's an old wine in a new bottle. I'm sorry for this example, but this is what it is, right? So I'm talking about the social cohesions. When it comes to social cohesions, everybody have the faith. Everyone is have different faiths, different beliefs. But in their faiths, they have the harmony. They have the peace. But that peace can bring peace. How we can bring that peace to each other. How that peace can give that comfort zone to another. That okay, fine, we are from Japan, we are from Korea, we are from here, we are from Bangladesh, we are from India, we are from Pakistan, we are from UK. No matter what, in the end, we all are together. Whoever is doing what, the important thing is that it's not important then when some disaster occurs, we all need to get together. Why can't we do that before? And I would really like to share that we have launched a project which is called Recharge Pakistan. That how we can save, how can we use that flood's water? That's what nature is telling you. That listen, if you're not taking care of mine, I'm angry. Same like a mother. When we are not listening to a mother, mothers get angry, fathers can get angry, they scold. So nature is also doing that. But still nature loves us. But how we are loving it, that's more important. Thank you very much. With this, I think I've made everybody more emotional, and I don't want to make emotional more. But I just wanted to say thank you very much to everyone who is here, who have given your precious time to it. I'm just looking forward that we are going for more collaborations. Thank you for showing me the heart, mine heart too. And I just wanted to say that be together. And I just wanted to mention something here. My Italian friends are here. I want you to give them a huge round of applause. Because they are the one from last 50 years. From last 50 years, Mr. Agostino and please if you could stand up. And they are in the great. And they came specially for this session. So this is, and they are looking forward for those women, the livelihoods which are getting affected with the glaciers. So, and we really want to pray for Mr. Agostino as well, that may God bless him and he'll get well soon. So this is the love. They don't think about men and women. They are here for the gender. So thank you so very much. Hats off to you. And thank you very much, dear. May God bless you. Have a nice evening and take care. Oh, I'm not done.
Please sit. Thank you so much. And in line with the initiative announced by the ministry, we're hoping to hear from our partners in the private sector, but also our team in Egypt and in Jordan who've been working very closely with the private sector on advancing climate change and gender equity. The moderator for your session today is Rania. Rania, could you wave? Rania holds a medical degree and a master's in business administration from the American University in Cairo. She's got over 25 years of experience, but doesn't look like it, working with numerous national and international organizations where she's worked in development projects in several sectors with different donors. So Rania, to you to introduce the panel.
She's very cool. Can she take that?
Yeah. We're going live, so just make sure you pass the mic.
Right. Thank you and good evening, everyone, and welcome to the discussion on addressing climate change and gender equity within the private sector. We have a very esteemed panel today, a very esteemed group of women, and in today's panel, we're going to bring together a group of highly distinguished women, each bringing unique insights and expertise. They will shed light and share their experiences on the vital role the private sector can play in addressing the gender-climate nexus. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our esteemed panelists for today. Madam Rumina Alam, Coordinator for the Prime Minister on Climate Change and Environmental Coordination. Madam Rumina has over 2 decades in development experience in the sector before joining the Parliament in 2013. She serves as the coordinator for the Prime Minister on Climate Change and Environmental Coordination. She has activated parliamentary forums, served in roles such as General Secretary of the Youth Women Wing, and led initiatives like the Prime Minister's Youth Program. She has held positions including the Parliamentary Secretary for Climate Change and Climate Change. Her work spans national and regional climate projects, political economy, and reintegration of displaced people. Passionate about sustainable development, she pioneered Pakistan non-Muslim parliamentary caucus and the champion issues on climate change, minority rights, and gender-based violence, representing Pakistan internationally in forums like the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association and Inter-Parliamentary Union. So welcome to the panel. I would then like to move forward and introduce Ms. Takoko Oyabu. She's the Chief Global Corporate Affairs and Sustainability Officer at Takeda Pharmaceuticals, Japan. She is the Chief Global Corporate Affairs and Sustainability Officer overseeing global communications, global corporate social responsibility, global public affairs, global security and crisis management, health data, that's a very long list of things, health data partnerships, and sustainability for Takeda. Prior to joining Takeda, she led the global corporate communication function at Nissan Motor Corporation. Before that, she was with General Electric Company, managing corporate communications for a variety of industries and building the GE brand in both developed and emerging markets. She holds a master's degree in public administration from Columbia University's School of International Public Affairs and a bachelor's degree in political science from the International Christian University in Japan. So welcome to our panel. Ms. Yusra Al-Bakkar are the Senior Partnership Manager from Pathfinder International for the South Asia and MENA region. Yusra holds a master's degree in sustainability and has been working in international development for more than 10 years in diverse themes such as gender, public health, environment, and economic empowerment. She has worked directly for donors and other partners in the MENA region, developing multi-million-dollar projects to advance achievement of the SDGs, and currently is the Senior Partnership Manager for Pathfinder International in the South Asia and MENA region. So welcome to the panel. We also have Ms. Mayi Mahmoud from Egypt, who has not been able to join us here physically, but she has sent in her thoughts in a video, which we'll be seeing towards the end of our panel. And so I will introduce Ms. Mayi Mahmoud, who works at the Egyptian National Council for Women. She's the General Director of the Women Business Development Center, the economic arm of the Egyptian National Council for Women. She works with passion in the field of development since her graduation from the Faculty of Economics over 20 years ago. Her direct communication with marginalized women provided her with valuable insights about women's needs and challenges. Finding solutions to these challenges is met through her engagement in the field of development and her continuous learning. And with that, I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you for joining our panel. And with that, let's begin. I would like to start with Takoko and ask you, as one of the world's leaders in the pharmaceutical sector, Takeda is playing a significant role in positioning the importance of private sector engagement in climate and gender solutions around the world. Could you please describe some of the work that Takeda has invested in to improve women and girls' health and climate adaptation?
Thank you, Rania, and I would like to first of all say thank you to the organizers for inviting myself, and also congratulate the government of Pakistan for such a great initiative that really breaks silos and brings inclusivity into really the policy-making world. So a big congratulations. From my side, I would like to discuss three things. I'll share a bit about Takeda, then why climate and health, and why gender. So Takeda is a Japanese global biopharmaceutical company. We were founded in 1781, so that is 5 years after the US declared its independence. So what our long 240 plus year heritage has taught us is that to make real impact, it takes time, it takes perseverance, and it also takes collaboration. And this is why we really value partnerships, both in the business side as well as the philanthropic side. Now, when I talk about philanthropy, one of the things that really stood out was that only less than 2% of corporate donations go into climate and health. And this is why at Takeda we've been running our CSR program for many years now. We've been focusing on health system strengthening, but we narrowed it down to climate and health this year because of this reason. The other reason why is because we've also had the privilege to work with nonprofit organizations like Pathfinder, and through that work, which we really try to educate women and children in Pakistan and Bangladesh on how to connect not only health but nutrition, water, sanitation, the different elements, such that they can really bring more health access into their communities, and that's working extremely well. Now, about women, Madame Romina also mentioned this, but when you look at statistics, the UN has announced that when there's a climate change disaster, women and children are 14 times more than men likely to die. Okay, and when you look at 4 out of 5 people who get displaced, it's typically women and girls. And this is why the gender lens is so important, and I hope we can build it up on that further. But that's it for my side.
Thank you so very much. That was very insightful. And now from the private sector, I will move to Madame Romina and get the government's perspective on this. And I would like to ask you, given the current climate conditions that are impacting the South Asian MENA region and Pakistan particularly, could you highlight the role of gender and the role of gender of the climate seal in addressing systemic barriers to building a climate resilient economy and supporting Pakistan's Pakistan's NDCs under the Paris Agreement? Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Madam. It's a very pertinent question which you asked. When we talk about the Gender Equity Seal program, and as you have mentioned in your question, that economically growth and all, I believe this sort of a programs can build a great connections. I'm very much sure. Please don't take me wrong, but when we see the climate situation, like if we see about the pledges which developed countries has made, and so far they're unsuccessful in achieving that or fulfilling their promises. So I think as we talk about the resilience, as we talk about the strength of each other and believing in itself, and I think I believe more in the solutions where we can all raise the as my dear friend mentioned about the number of the women and the children who suffered more and more. So I believe in this way, like in the COVID, we can take a great example of a COVID, that when COVID comes, most of the women, they have done tremendous sort of jobs. Whatever their expertise, either they were cooking food, they can stitch the clothes or whatever. So in that way, we can bring their skills out and we can make them more strong. We can talk about more about the issues, the way we can handle, like we can talk about the climate insurances, we can talk about the SMEs, we can talk about how we can generate the fundings. As we all, like when I talk about the regional solutions, in a way I'm talking about the regional economies as well, that how the gender can work into it, that not only as we talk about the portals, as along with the Pathfinder we are working on that as well. It's very much important not only to, because I believe someone have one thing special in them which can bring so much for others. So how we can bring out that speciality of them into it and give them that, bring it or sharpen that, as we all know about the pearls or the diamond, that it's a stone. But when we give a cut and shapes to it, it becomes more expensive. So same goes, we can come up with the projects in a way that we can make them strengthen, and we can give them this hope that you can work and get things more. And in that, how they can, like we all talk about the e-economy. So we are talking about the green economy. And I think in this way, when as you have talked about the NDCs in the Paris Agreement and all, so it's my question as well for the developed countries, that okay, you're talking about the developing countries, about the NDCs. What about you? So where is going to go for the climate, where we have to raise the voices for the climate justice. So this is something which I believe that when we are going to talk about to make them strengthen and to bring them in one network. And in that, like today, as 4 women are sitting on front, we all are from the different sectors, but our thoughts are same. So to bring that into alliance and give that skill to another woman and to pass it on, that is something which we can do. And to be very honest, I believe that, and I have done that in different ways, that these developing countries, we are not looking for aid. We are looking for the trade. We are looking for the opportunities. We are looking for that how we can, work together. So this is a way I believe that this project can bring I'm not saying it's a hope. It's a way forward. No more hopes. No more dark things. So this is something where we need to bring the productivity by engaging and bring the skills out and to give the the platform to the gender where they can put their work, and they knew that okay, if something Rumina knows, she bring it out and she's giving to my friend is sitting over here in Japan. She thinks that okay, this thing can work a lot and she can engage in that. Same goes with my another friend, same goes with you. So these are the things in which we can work that and engage, and I think that can be a great contribution towards economy as well, to make them strengthen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And from that, I will move now to my colleague Yusra from Pathfinder International, and I would like to ask her about her experience of working in the MENA region and how you think the private sector can effectively partner with the government and nonprofits to create gender-sensitive climate policies, and how is Pathfinder positioned to respond to all the issues that we have talked about in our panel today.
Thank you so much, Rania. Thank you so much for the panelists, for Rumina, for Okuku. I'm really cold, so whatever I say, if you feel like I'm shivering, is not because of anything. It's very cold where we sit here, so I apologize on that in advance. I like what you said about your philanthropy and CSR programming, and how are you trying to make impact while working on health system strengthening from various aspects. I mean, we at Pathfinder have been working with Takeda for like 3-4 years now on Pakistan, and me and my team have gone through the process of applying to new funding opportunities. But one thing, I'll talk about our experience and I'll respond to your question, but first I have to acknowledge some of what you said. Looking at the design of your TOR and how you want the program to happen, there was a huge separation on what could be done at the facility level or at the community level or at capacity building perspective. And when I look at it, I said we need to have more channel to talk to the donor, whether they are government or private sector, and help them understand that silos do not work anymore. We cannot afford to work in this mentality. The design has to be sustainable and inclusive from the very beginning. You can no longer separate the facility from the community when you're designing a project, no matter what it is, because the ownership starts from them. Which takes me to what kind of experience do we have at Pathfinder globally and regionally and locally to respond to such needs. First of all, we're a leading organization when it comes to the health, climate, gender nexus. And it's one of the most complex nexuses, if I may say. If health is a country, it would be the largest consumer of energy and CO2 globally. So that tells you about the impact and of carbon emissions you could do there if things are implemented correctly. Women, families, for us, are at the center of the design of any project, because we're a family planning oriented organization. So we don't think of gender as a goal to achieve. It's actually, for us, gender mainstreaming is a process from the very early design of the project, so as well sustainability. We have the Women Climate-Led Resilience Program that we've implemented for the last, how many years, decade in Egypt. We started knowing nothing. We went to the communities trying to understand where are the issues and how could we entangle them to add value to the national adaptations plans and the national determinations factors and all of that. And the examples we learned on the ground were mind-blowing. For example, I can brief you with one at least. In one of the agricultural communities we work with, they happen to plant rice. And what do they do with the residuals? They burn the residuals of after they do the harvest, which has created health and climate issue. So we work directly with the community and say, okay, how could we reverse that? Working with the women who are most of the time, taking care of this agriculture and the harvest and everything. So we said, instead of burning these residuals, is there a way we could recycle it or make something out of it? And that's exactly what we did, which in turn created an economic opportunities for these women, empower them within their community, solve health issue and climate issue. But there was no way we would have found out this if we were sitting in our offices in Washington. You have to go to the field and you have to work with the communities directly to understand where are the issues and feed up from bottom up approach. And that's what makes Pathfinder quite special organization in that sense. Though we are global, but we are locally led organizations and we work at a grassroots level in a very close way to the community. The Gender Climate Equity Seal is another example about our work to include, to work on climate and health and gender. I mean, you will hear the term Gender Equity Seal everywhere. It's been implemented, it's successful, everyone knows it. But the fact that you have the buy-in from the minister herself to initiate this climate equity seal and push the private sector to get this seal not from a gender perspective only, but from climate perspective, it tells you that there is a huge political willingness to push the climate and gender agenda together, and which positions Pathfinder, honestly, at the forefront of responding to these actions. I want to talk a little bit about the design we follow when it comes to health system strengthening. Like I told you from the very beginning, the health facility is one thing, but also the work around it is in my opinion, most important. You talk about emergency preparedness plans for the staff. Usually when climate change happens, no matter of the type of upgrade you do at the health facility, it will still be inaccessible. If a flood, if it's a heat wave, if it's I don't know, my English is a little bit betraying me at the moment. We're listing climate vulnerability, so I apologize for this. But what I'm trying to say is the facility will be damaged, will be inaccessible, no matter how many upgrades you do. However, have you thought about activating mobile teams in times of crisis, in times of climate vulnerabilities? This does not just require us upgrading the facility to become green. No, it requires a holistic plan that looks beyond what is actually happening in that particular community or that particular country at a very given moment in time, or a very given climate vulnerability. I just wanted to give you a few examples, Rania, responding to your question on what can be done with the private sector and the government to address these issues. But really, I do have a hope, given that you represent Takeda and the private sector, is that to listen more to implementers and find different ways of implementing, not just classifying things to one category or another. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Yusra. Thank you very much. We had a video. We will be able to show it. Okay. To hear the thoughts of Mai Mahmoud from the National Council of Women in Egypt, who has worked extensively with Pathfinder on the Gender Equity Seal with the private sector. So I will say over to Mai. Thank you very much.
You don't hear, do you? No, I haven't pressed it.
It's not working. Yes,
I just put
try
it
that.
over
Yes,
it.
yes.
आवाज़ तो इसमें से भी नहीं आ रही है।
Respect to the Ministry of Climate Change and Coordination of Pakistan. His Excellency Mr. esteemed delegates and honored guests. My sincere appreciation and respect to the Ministry of Climate Change and Environmental Coordination of Pakistan for introducing a gender and climate equity led by Ms. Yamina Murshid, climate change and EC coordinator to Pakistan's Prime Minister. We do acknowledge the country's vision to mainstream climate change within the economically and socially vulnerable sectors of the economy, steering Pakistan towards climate resilient development. Globally, there are existing gender inequalities and challenges to achieve goals within climate change agenda, such as women's and girls' limited access to uncontrolled resources, unequal and unpaid care burden, limited economic opportunities, and violence against women. Accordingly, the need for a just transition that considers the socio-economic impact of women is highly needed. Egypt is among the most affected countries by the implications of the climate change. We have a national strategy for women 2030, clearly stating women's role in environment protection and economic development. There is a dedicated intervention for strengthening women's ability to cope with environmental risks, climate change, and unsustainable consumption. Nationally, a strategy for adaptation to climate change 2050 is in place with a women empowerment strategy lens. Under Objective 2 of the strategy, protect citizens from the negative health impacts of climate change. One of the directions which contributes to achieving this objective is to ensure the availability of health services to all citizens without gender discrimination. Ensure participation and consultation of women in climate change initiatives by integrating women-specific aspects of national policies and action plans to search for alternative livelihoods. Another objective is strengthening women's response considerations to help them adapt to climate change. The considerations of women's response is an important factor in the considerations of combating climate change, given the importance of the role of women in the Egyptian society, especially in urban areas and less advantaged. Creating policies that ensure the effective participation of women, allocating resources for climate change initiatives, encouraging a systematic analysis on gender equality based on the collection and use of data disaggregated by gender, the development of gender-sensitive standards and indicators, and opinion surveys to assess the level of satisfaction in different ways with the technology used in climate change initiatives in this area. Egypt is the first country in the MENA region to launch Closing the Gender Gap Accelerator model of the World Economic Forum. It focuses on public-private partnership to enhance women's economic empowerment. Under the accelerator, we have 100 companies that sign the Women Empowerment Principles, 30 companies that are under the Egyptian Gender Equity. In 2021, the Egyptian Gender Model process on the World Bank has been revived and normalized in the Egyptian context through the Egyptian Gender Equity (EGES) certification process, where companies and commercial entities can apply for certification. 3 private sector companies, 1 in the tech sector and 2 in the banking sector, were pilot certified companies in April 2022. And now we certify 13 companies. The EGES is
I think it's waste of time to listen to it while it's not really clear.
Yes.
So let's use the time with something more efficient.
Thank you very much. I did want to open the floor for questions. If anybody has any questions for our panelists, I apologize. I know the voice wasn't that clear. So please, any questions from the audience?
The audience, no.
Are the audience as cold as we are? Okay. It's freezing back here. So let me look at our. Oh, please.
So while I do hear about projects and financing for situations where laborers are working in heat affected areas, I do not see any such financing measures for women who have to work. And we specifically focus in the context of urban heat island development and in the context of changing urban climates for financing for outdoor workers. But women who work inside, who have a different biology, who have subcutaneous fat that is capable of retaining more heat, have to sit in front of stoves and then cook. Why don't we have alternatives, financings and solutions for them? And why don't we speak for that? Sorry,
So thank you very much. I'm looking at my panelists and see. Do you want to take a shot at responding to that?
To be honest, I have never really thought about it, but it's a good point. I would say from the private sector, especially from a biopharmaceutical side, we do try to focus on where the biggest needs are. And right now it's climate and health, and that's kind of the broadest umbrella that we use. But if there are these needs, I think it would be good such that it's raised in different agenda, because then that can inform our thinking going forward. But that's kind of my honest response at this point.
I don't think I have anything to add, but I mean, like you said, I mean, most of the finance is usually directed to where the most issues are and will create bigger impact. So I think it's very interesting what you raised, but I don't think it's something we also have thought about in our organization. Yeah, sure.
Well, why I see it as a big issue. The fact is that if you go to rural areas, maybe in Pakistan or in other countries, there are women who are early morning burning wood in a place where the AQI is already 700 to 1500. That means that the issue is far bigger than we are thinking of it as yet. And they have to...
Maybe it's more pronounced in Pakistan than other areas?
It is pronounced the same everywhere because women are exposed to nitrogen in their kitchens every day. I mean, we're not thinking of it because we are a very men-focused society. Let's admit that. And the fact is that this issue is far more pressing because she has to live in that kitchen for several hours, despite being a working woman. And so when we say that, when the need is more, and at the same, I think my headphones are gone. But as a matter of fact, when we say that, the need is more in other sectors, yes, it is a need. But we've traditionally focused on the red-collar workers. We've traditionally focused on the outdoor workers. We have not traditionally thought of women as a priority. When you say that there are 14% more chances of women dying because of these changes that are happening, we say that, but we don't really, sort of ingest that into our thought as much as often.
There's a question over there. Someone had a question.
You'll have to come up front.
Yeah, come.
Yeah.
So I just want to know about, for example, if women want to access the green finances from the private sector regarding the green tech activities, what challenges they do face? Do you have any examples of you and how you overcome them? Thank you.
You're talking about women in the communities as individuals or as companies first?
As a private sector, companies or...
No, because accessing big amount of finances requires a certain administrative process. So you have to be an organization or a company that prove capacity in A, B, C, stuff. But we do have, we work on small, what do you call them, small grants?
Micro-entrepreneurs.
Micro-entrepreneurs. and schemes at that level, but I'm not sure for Takeda.
I would honestly say that's beyond our remit, and that's where we really focus on where our purpose is, which is really around health. And maybe there's other companies around, like technology companies, that are encouraging more women to be funded. But I think it does, the funding where it needs to go is where it probably needs to align with the corporate purpose. So that's where I would kind of encourage if there is a roadblock there.
So no solutions for the rural women.
It's not that there are no solutions for rural women. We're not the right funders for that. I mean, definitely there are other programs exist that will give funding directly to rural women on, entrepreneurship and other solutions.
And I do want to add, like in Egypt, we do have a program where we work on training women on how to run micro businesses, of course, in rural Egypt. And they are given seed funding and they are supported to start those own businesses. And we've actually, over the years, tried to make all those businesses green. So it's green entrepreneurship, how to do recycling from different things they have in rural Egypt. And I think the problem lies in that, unfortunately, in rural Egypt, I'm assuming it's in Pakistan, is that women are most likely less exposed to schooling, and so the starting
financial literacy is
a huge issue, and we do have that in one of our programs. In a program we have called WESIP, that has a huge financial literacy component, where we provide training for blue-collar women workers and women in communities around financial literacy. So their starting point is quite different than men, but I think baby steps, and I think that's my humble opinion.
Thank you.
I think last.
Do we have any other questions, or do we wrap it up and get out of here? It's freezing. I'm really cold.
Please wrap it up.
Okay, I would like to thank you both very much. It was a very interesting conversation, and thanks to all of you. And we look forward to seeing you again when it's slightly warmer. Thank you.
And you get to take your jacket.
Thank you. You saved us. Thank you. You sitting scared?
I have seen.
This is so cold. It's unbelievable. Thank you very much.
Of course.
Somehow stop.
Something happened.
So it's not that. So there's two gates. No. That gate and the gate over there.